Check 1, 2.
Go! Curious about real estate?
Yes!
Then you've come to the right place. Get the knowledge you need, get over the fear, and get started. This is the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show with your host, Michael Quarles.
Hello folks, Michael Quarles with podcast number 20. Today I'm going to go over a deal that we did. It has to be one of the craziest, insane real estate deals I've ever done. It is absolutely off the charts. So here we go. So one of the things I do from a marketing perspective, you guys know that I own yellowletters.com, so we do a bucket load of direct mail. But I also do other types of marketing. So I have this 30-minute infomercial. On this infomercial, it's a 15-minute loop. So what that means is the infomercial is basically only 15 minutes long, and they replay it in a time slot of 30 minutes. And during the infomercial, we have actors come in and portray an investor and his wife. We have actors come in and portray, foreclosed homeowners, divorcing homeowners, tired landlords, all that kind of stuff. So 15 minutes of talking about how great my company is about buying your house if you have one of these problems. Well, one of the problems that we talk about is that divorce issue. And so here we get this call, not from the seller. Here's what's crazy. We didn't get the call that says there's a house for sale from the seller. We got it from the mother-in-law. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So nevertheless, we ask the questions. Will all the decision makers be there when we come out to buy the house at 4 o'clock kind of thing? Mother-in-law says yes. My daughter-in-law will be there with her mother. So mother-in-law calls, says they need to sell a house. Daughter-in-law, so it's not her daughter, but daughter-in-law, is going to be there with daughter's-in-law's mother. So we have two moms and a daughter, but no husband. So we make the appointment. We confirm what we need to confirm, that it's a viable transaction. They meet me out there. So I'm going out there. And I'm trying to figure this one out. Here I'm going to meet two mother-in-laws and a daughter. So we meet. They want to show me the backyard first, which I always thought was really strange. So normally, you knock on the door, you step back 6 feet, look up the street so that they can be comfortable and confident that you're the person they want to open the door for and all their fear's gone. And you walk up to them and say, thank you for inviting me out to buy your house today. Is where I'm parked okay? Well, that's the normal thing. Well, I didn't get to normal on this one. I'm walking up to the front door, and here comes these two ladies and this younger lady. They're off from the side, like the side fence from the garage. And they, hey, are you here to buy the house? I said, yes. Thank you for inviting me out to buy the house. Is where I'm parked okay? They said, yes. I said, you want to show me the house? She goes, yeah, let's go in the backyard first. I didn't know what to expect. Not very often do I get invited to go in the backyard of a house before I go into the front yard of the house. I just thought it was odd. So we're going into the backyard of the house. And the two moms, who are just really polite. I mean, they're absolutely 100% polite. Wouldn't think anything negative, couldn't think anything negative. They were just absolutely polite. They start talking to me about this house that needs to be sold. That their son and their daughter, because they're mother and mom-in-laws kind of thing, their son and their daughter are getting a divorce. They saw my infomercial. They need to sell a house. They don't get along, so they can't be together, which is okay to me. I bought houses from divorced folks before, and I know that you don't get them together unless you just want, to call 911 after a few minutes kind of thing. So I don't have an issue with that. They go, this is the daughter though, so she's here, she can sign the agreement, great. I can buy at least half of the house anyway, half interest in the house. I'm assuming that the guy wants to sell because his mom is there. I mean, if his mom wasn't there, then I'd be a little bit, maybe it's a shaky deal kind of thing. But mom's there, mom-in-law's there, wife is there, so I'm assuming everything's on the up and up. So we start talking about price. They owe like 114 kind of thing. It's like nothing owed. I know I'm going to make 50 grand or so buying the house. They said all we want is $10,000 plus whatever we owe the bank. I said, so you owe the bank 114, and if I could give you $10,000 plus that, you'd sell me the house. I'm not saying I can, but if I could, we'd have a deal. And they go, yes, that was what we'd like. Can you do that? And I'm running my numbers, and I already know what I want to pay for it, and I already know, if it's in okay condition, what I'm willing to pay for it, and that was under what I was willing to pay for it, so that's fine. So I said, yeah, but I just need to see the inside. Then they looked at each other and they looked back at me and they go, okay, well, we just need to let you know that there's been some struggles in the inside of the house. The outside of the house looked great, like 4-year-old house, corner lot, beautiful little, one of those little new home subdivisions kind of thing, family starter homes. Nothing wrong with the outside of the house. Well, I know when I entered the back door of the house, I knew why they wanted to talk to me before I entered the front door of the house. So we are, we're going through the back door of the house because we're in the backyard. We're going to the back of the house, and I'm like, you walk into the kitchen when you kind of go in the back of the houses here in California anyway. And the kitchen looks okay, not a big deal. I mean, it's dirty. I mean, it's ugly dirty, not ugly, but ugly dirty. And we go around the little dining little area, and I look down the hallway, and yeah, there was some struggles going on in the house. Someone was getting beat up, or someone was mad, or someone had an anger management issue, because there was I think I counted 11 fist holes in doors or walls, and a couple boot holes where they hit the wall and then they decided they're going to kick the wall too, and I'm thinking, well, maybe it's a good idea that the guy's not here. I don't want to have a struggle, a physical struggle buying a house. So I'm thinking, well, mom and wife's here. That's great. Husband's not here. That's good too. With the sign looking at the house, I had to offset what I was willing to pay the people for the house after I saw what needed to be done. When I walk through a house, you've heard how I do it. I walk through each room. I start eroding the value of the house based upon what needs to be done. It was obvious they already knew that all this stuff needed to be done. I mean, I had doors I had to replace because they were punched in. I had walls that I had to go and fix because they were punched in and kicked in. But in general, it was an okay house. It just had a bunch of fist holes and kick holes in it. The linoleum in the kitchen was kind of, I don't like linoleum, so, or vinyl, that kind of that cheap stuff. So, I always put down tile in the hard surface areas. And so I was in and out of that house on fixing it up and rehabbing it in the days that I do my rehabs for about $5,000, maybe less. It wasn't more than that. So here I met mom and wife out of the house that apparently had some anger management issues inside of it. They were absolutely not going to list it on the market for sale. Absolutely not going to do it because there's not a realtor alive that would show that house because, the embarrassment level of showing a listed house or something that looked like that. What I could do fit for them. They wanted the 10,000 plus the loan that they had, and that's fine. I'll take the loan subject to. And it's the only time I can ever remember doing this, and it was the only time, the first time, and it's absolutely the last time. So mom and daughter are sitting there, and we negotiated it down to $5,000 plus the loan. And so here we are, we have $5,000 that I'm going to give her, and they go, can we get that before escrow closes? And I said, well, the only way I can do that is if I get the deed, and I will hold it unrecorded, and we go through escrow. So I'm going to get escrow to do my prelim, so my preliminary title search, so they can tell me that, all the good stuff about the property and all the bad stuff about the property from the voluntary and involuntary liens. Once they gave me the thumbs up that I could close if I wanted to close, I'll write the check for the $5,000. Never did it before, never going to do it again. Trust me on this one, crazy deal. The crazy's coming, by the way. That wasn't the crazy part. The crazy's still coming. So we negotiate. Yes, prelim, thumbs up from escrow that I can close. I'll write you the $5,000 check. Be on your way. Husband has to sign off. Wife has to sign off. Everybody's happy. And I go, but wait a second. This house is, and they're telling me that the couple is just divorcing. She's leaving him. He's leaving her. They're leaving their lives. They're just leaving the house. I said, well, what about all the furniture inside? And mom look at each other again, and daughter says, or wife says, well, he wants the furniture, and so he said he would be coming and picking it up. And I said, well, the key here is he's got to pick it up, and it has to be out of the house before I can give you the $5,000 and close escrow. And they said, okay. I mean, he said he wanted it, and it wasn't ugly furniture. You could tell it was somewhat new, like the house was. And so we solved for that. Escrow, we open up escrow. We get the thumbs up from escrow. We're ready to give her the $5,000 that I'm going to write her straight to her, not go through escrow. But the furniture's not out yet. It's like, people, you want $5,000, you want me to buy your house, but you're not doing anything to help me buy your house. And they go, yeah, well, he said he was going to come by, and he was going to do this, and he was going to do that. And I'm thinking, well, this guy must be a real peach, because here he is, anger management issues, and he's not trying to help, the situation out, and whatever it is, he's not doing anything about it. And so, they procrastinate, and I said, no, I'm not going to give you the $5,000 until you move the furniture out. They goes, okay, what if we put the furniture on the street? So I said, okay, wait a second. You want to move, so you're going to take the furniture out of the house, you're going to take it off the property and put it in the street. They go, yeah, will that be okay? I said, absolutely. So as long as you don't put it on the property, you can put it in the street all you want. So they go over there, they take all his stuff, his nice furniture, it's crazy, and they put it in the street. So I go there to confirm that the furniture's out of the house. All the furniture's out of the house. Furniture's in the street. It's crazy. Absolutely insane crazy. They call me and they go, did you confirm? I said, yeah, let's meet up. I'll write you a check. Wrote him a check, $5,000. Called escrow, told escrow, hey, I just wrote him a $5,000 check outside of escrow. They signed the agreement that told escrow that they agreed to the $5,000 out of escrow so they can deduct the $5,000 out of the seller proceeds. Gave escrow a copy of the check. We were fine. We closed escrow. I'm thinking we're done. I'm thinking I'm never going to hear about these people ever in my life again. Ever. So, go out to the house. I got got two guys in the house. We're doing the tile floors. And when we buy a house, we go on it pretty fast. I mean, we don't look like we don't buy a house and then, look at it for a week before we do something. When we know we're going to close, we're ready to get in there and get it rehabbed and get it resold again. So, we're like the next day after close, we're in there, we're doing tile, we're replacing those doors that have to replace, and we're fixing those punch holes and kick holes in the walls. And here comes the husband. And I happen to be there. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I really don't need to deal with some violent guy. I like everybody else, I don't mind getting in the street and doing something, but I don't want to if I don't have to. And I'm thinking, man, the husband's going to come, he's going to get all pissed off because he's got his furniture in the street. He didn't make any money on the deal. Apparently he's got anger issues. So he comes, I'm there, my two guys are there, we're working. It gets out of his car, and it's this itty bitty man. He's a young man, but if he was like 4'10", 5'2", that would be tall. He was just this little guy. I don't think for a moment that he could punch a hole in the wall in the house. I don't think for a moment he could kick a hole in the house. So he gets out. I can tell he's embarrassed that all of his stuff's in the street. He's making, going there to make sure he can make arrangements to get it out of there. And I walk out there to say hello to him after I realize he's only 4 foot nothing tall and 5 foot tall kind of thing. And I'm not going to worry about any violent issue or anger issues now, unless he's like Bruce Lee reincarnated and doesn't look like that. So we go out there and start talking to him, and I said, "Dude, what's going on?" He says, "Yeah." I say, "Thanks for moving my stuff out." I didn't move it out in the street. Your mother and your mother-in-law and your ex-wife or your wife moved it out in the street. He says, "Well, thanks for letting it be in the street, and I'll get it out of here and get it out of your way." I said, "No, hey, well, and I'm just stupid, I guess." We start talking about the holes in the walls. I said, "What happened? What's going on?" He said, "Well, that's why I couldn't be here with my wife here. She beats me up, and she has an anger issue, and we just couldn't stay married because I was getting tired of being beat up." And I thought, wow, that's crazy. But that's not the crazy part of the story. You'd think moms selling son and daughter's houses would be the crazy part. You'd think putting the furniture in the street before close so you could close escrow would be the crazy part. You'd think punch holes in the wall would be the crazy part. You'd think that a husband getting beat up by his wife would be the crazy part. But it's not the crazy part. So I talk to him, we chat, we talk about it, life is what it is. And, he falls forward and he moves all the stuff out, and I sell the house. And I think I make $43,000 profit on it, and I'm good to go. It is absolutely the last thing I'm thinking about now until I look at my bank account balance one day. This is probably 2 weeks later. I'm looking at my bank account balance. I'm just that way. I like knowing how much money I have or how much money I don't have. I look at it and I go, that's not right. I've got to have more money in this account than that. So I start looking at it, and I'm being, going figuring out what the heck happened. So I go down to the bank and I said, you've got some checks coming through my account that I didn't write. And they go, "Well, what's your account number?" And I give my account number, and I was able to pull up copies of the checks online that they say were my checks coming through my checking account. Now, this isn't the crazy part yet. So the bank said, "Oh, well, yeah, that's not even your signature." No, it's not my signature. Okay, well, we'll give you the money back. There must have been an error, blah, 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 blah. And I'm on my way. They give me back my money. I'm happy. And then it happens again. So I look at my bank account balance a few days later, and it happened again. So I go back down to the bank, and I go, "Dudes, what do I got to do? Close my account and reopen it?" "No, we'll put a watch on your account. It won't happen again, blah, 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 blah." Fine, they give me my money back. I go on my way. Have no clue under the sun what's going on. And then I get a call from the Bakersfield Police Department. The police department called me on the phone and say, "Mike, we have one of your checks." "No, you don't." "No, you can call Bank of America. They've already given me my money back. It's not one of my checks. I don't know what it is." But they're telling me they have a check from some check cashing company, and this is not the crazy part yet. They have a check from some check cashing place, and it didn't clear. Well, no, it didn't clear because my banker told me he's not going to pay for any of those checks that come through. So they, that person, does whatever they do. They thank me for talking to them, and I go on my way, and I'm thinking this is the weirdest thing I've ever done or been involved in. And then all of a sudden I get another call from one of my buddies who happens to be a police detective. And he goes, "Hey, Mike, how you doing?" I said, "Hey, what's going on?" I said, "You won't believe the calls what's my life's been like in the last couple of days." And he goes, "Whoa, what happened?" I said, and I keep telling him, he says, "Well, that's funny because this is what I need to talk to you about." I said, "What do you need to talk to me about?" He says, "We got a guy down here in lockup that says he knows you." And I'm thinking, well, wouldn't put it past any of my friends to be in lockup for some reason or another. I don't know. But it's not like I go down to the police department every day. But I said, okay, I'll be down. And it's a friend of mine anyway calling me. So I go down there and we're chatting, and he goes, okay. And we talk about, the sun and life and the moon and all that kind of stuff. And then he gets to police business. He goes, come with me. And he goes, he takes me over to this, and I've never been inside of a police department like this, but he takes me over this section of the police department, and there's a jail cell there. And he goes, and there's a guy inside the jail cell. It's like crazy. And he says, hey, do you know this guy? And he goes, no, I don't know that guy at all. He says, and the police detective asked the guy, but you know Michael Quarles? He goes, yes, he's a good friend of mine. But you don't know this guy. And he's pointing to me. Well, I'm Michael Quarles. This guy says he knows Michael Quarles. I'm Michael Quarles. He's in jail. I'm not in jail. I'm thinking that's a good thing. I don't know him. So then my friend who's a police detective takes me off to another room, and he says, well, let me tell you what's going on. I said, I'm glad to know. Did you buy a house from some girl and her husband? And he gives me the address. I said, I did. What the heck? What's going on? He goes, well, they're not there. The wife is running a check scheme or scam, whatever they call them. They go, well, what do you mean? What is she doing? She goes, well, your company and another company. She took checks. She must have got a check from you. And she must have got a check for them. She took their checks, you guys' checks, and started making their own counter checks. You can buy checks from Office Depot or Staples and run it through your machine, your printer, and print out your own checks. And then she'd go places and cash them. But here's the crazy part. So that girl that I gave a $5,000 company check to buy her house outside of escrow, took my checking account, made checks up, started cashing. But here's the crazy part. She would go to homeless people. So in our city, we have an area of the city where you're going to find a homeless person if you just drive over there, kind of thing. They sleep under the bridge, kind of stuff. Whatever little gang she was in, they would go over there. They would find a homeless person. They'd ask that homeless person to come over to them, and they'd make the homeless person an offer. And here was the offer. Strangest, craziest thing I've ever been involved in. They would ask the homeless person, they would say, we'll give you a check for $2,000. We'll take you to the bank so you can cash it. And we want to split the $2,000 with you. So you cash a $2,000 check. You give us $1,000. You keep $1,000. And to the homeless person, that probably sounded like a pretty good deal. I mean, what's the worst thing that could happen to the homeless person? They're not homeless because they get arrested. They get food and health care and shelter and the whole bit. So this homeless person was at my bank. And the bank was watching my account. And he was this guy, he said he was me, and he wasn't me. And trying to cash a check, over the counter kind of thing. And they called the police, and the police arrested him at the bank. And all because I was trying to be a nice guy, buying a house from a divorcing couple who this, gal was allegedly beating up her husband, punching holes in the walls, kicking holes in the walls, wanted a check outside of escrow. Yeah, I did make, bucket load of money on the house. But man, you're talking about a crazy deal. I mean, this is just what we have to put up with. So what I learned doing this deal is expect the unexpected. Don't ever pass judgment. When I see a punch hole in the wall, I'm never going to assume a guy did it. If I see a wall kicked in, I'm never going to assume now that a guy did it, as I don't know. I was proven that girls can do that too. I'm stupid. I didn't even think that. Don't ever write a person a check directly that you buy a house from. Everything goes through escrow. And and just be ready for the unexpected, because man, it's just crazy stuff out there that people do. Hope you enjoyed my story. I wanted to share. I may do these more often than not. I just think it's fun to talk about deals that we've done and how we did them and how we found them and how we negotiated them and what made the deal work, where the motivation was, and how we make money in this business. You guys have a great day, great evening, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show. Get more info and stay in touch at michaelquarles.com.